Hey everyone, Sharon Toerek with you again for a one question, one answer. And I'm going to be honest with you and say that I sort of stole this month's topic for the one question, one answer segment from my good friend Drew McClellan over at Agency Management Institute. Drew recently did a really great video on exclusivity provisions in agency client contracts. And in it, he really laid out a very simple but sensible financial sort of framework for thinking about exclusivity clauses if you get asked by a client to enter into an exclusivity clause in your master services agreement. And so, by all means, head over to Agency Management Institute and take a look at Drew's video on that topic. I wanted to quickly chime in and just talk about exclusivity very quickly to let you know how we approach it from a contract negotiation point of view at the law firm. First of all, I used to have a philosophy of a default no agreement to exclusivity requests on a client's behalf for our agency clients. And that's still honestly where I sort of start, where my head is sort of based. But I have grown to understand that we need to be more realistic about this because one of the double-edged swords of being a specialist in your agency is that more clients or prospective clients are going to ask you for exclusivity. So, what do you do in the negotiation when you get this ask? Obviously, look at Drew's video. He's got an approach to pricing for exclusivity. But I want to just give you some things to think about. First of all, from our point of view, on behalf of the agencies we advocate for, you should never agree to exclusivity unless there is a financial upside to you. Because remember, you are foregoing the opportunity to pursue other business in exchange for agreeing to exclusivity. So there needs to be a financial incentive to do it, whether it's a minimum spend, whether it is a minimum term in the engagement agreement, or otherwise. There has to be a financial upside. So that aside, what are the ways you can limit an exclusivity demand if you receive one? Because typically the brands will present these in very broad formats. Think about the following. First of all, narrowing the exclusivity demand to a particular set of competitors. These are other brands that you might agree to not pursue for a period of time while you are working with your current client. The second thing to think about is narrowing the set of product or service categories that you might be willing to forego pursuing while you're representing your current client. For example, we may work for other CPG packaging goods companies while we're working with you, but we won't work with them in categories A, B, C, or D while we are your agency. So, first by company, second by product category. Third of all, geography. We may not work with other real estate brokerages in these states or in this region of the country. But if we get an opportunity to work with one on the other coast or elsewhere, then that's not included in our exclusivity commitment. So think about ways to whittle it around. The last thing I'll leave you with is that the exclusivity clause or commitment, in my mind, should never exceed the term of the contract itself. A lot of times, brands will ask you to agree to exclusivity that lasts for 6 months, 12 months, whatever, after the term of your commitment with them is expired. I kind of have a hardline philosophy on this that if you're not in business together, then you shouldn't be exclusive to them any longer. You might agree that obviously you're not going to disclose any confidential information of theirs, but you'd agree to that anyhow. So I don't really see that as a factor. Last thing, exclusivity is not the same as non competition. I hear a lot of agencies call exclusivity clauses non comp agreements. They're not. They're not the same. Non comp is an entirely different legal concept that really refers to um, your employees either going out and competing with the agency, your contractors competing with the agency, etc. So remember, exclusivity is something different than that. I hope this helps. If you need help addressing or thinking through an exclusivity demand that a brand makes of your agency, feel free to reach out to us, Sharon at legalandcreative.com. And I will see you on the next one question, one answer. Thanks so much. Be well until then.